All right, welcome everybody. We're going to call our meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. One and one.
All right. I didn't have an opportunity to review the October 15th executive session, so the first one I'm going to ask for approval is October 15th, 2019 work session on beach operations. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Next is the approval of the October 21st, 2019 work session regarding the bike path.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Approval of the October 21st, 2019 regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. And finally, the October 21st, 2019 executive session meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. So I apologize to everybody for our late start. We had a work session prior to the meeting. And lesson learned is we should do those on off nights because we sometimes try to do them beforehand. We always run into this problem. So our first order of business is we have a proclamation declaring Narragansett a Purple Heart town. So I'm going to go down for the proclamation and ask Joseph Tiger Patrick, who's the commander of VFW Post 916, Ron Gilchrist, who's our veteran service officer, Dale Cordy, the adjutant, and then the past post commander, Steve Stewart. So I'm going to come down and read the proclamation and have them join me. Perfect. Do you have a good vantage? All right. A proclamation declaring Narragansett a Purple Heart town. Whereas the town of Narragansett, Washington County, Rhode Island, has always supported its military veteran population, and whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest military decoration in present use and was initially created as the badge of military merit by General George Washington in 1782, and whereas the Purple Heart was the first American Service Award or decoration made available to the common soldier and is specifically awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces who have been wounded or paid the ultimate sacrifice in combat with the declared enemy of the United States of America, and whereas the mission of the Military Order of the Purple Heart is to foster an environment of goodwill among the combat wounded veteran members and their families, promote patriotism, support legislative initiatives, and most importantly, make sure that we never forget. And whereas the state of Rhode Island has a large, highly decorated veteran population, including many Purple Heart recipients, and whereas Narragansett appreciates the sacrifices our Purple Heart recipients made in defending our freedoms and believe it is important that we acknowledge them for their courage and show them the honor and support they've earned. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town council of the town of Narragansett hereby proclaims the town of Narragansett as a Purple Heart town. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Joseph Tiger Patrick, who's the commander of the post. He would like to address everyone here.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you so much. This is amazing. Narragansett is the fourth city in the state of Rhode Island to declare themselves a Purple Heart town. Our ultimate dream is to have Route 4 from Westerly all the way to 95 be Purple Heart Highway. And so you guys are the next brick, and thank you so much. I'm going to turn this over to Ron Gilchrist, who has a presentation, a Narragansett member, and a regular visitor to these meetings. He's an awesome guy and a pain in my butt.
Thank you very much, Tiger, Commander. And I would also like to thank the members of the council and the general public in Narragansett. Narragansett has always been a tremendous community, very, very supportive to veterans' issues, and especially on this issue, the Purple Heart. As was said in the proclamation, which probably stole about 90% of my presentation here, the Purple Heart dates back to George Washington, and it really is so important. We here tonight are veterans of foreign wars, so we know firsthand the importance and what it means for those folks who have been awarded the Purple Heart. In many cases, no one really joins the military and says, "Damn, I'm going to join the military, and I'm going to get me a Purple Heart." No, nobody ever does that. It happens because those individuals have put themselves in harm's way, extreme harm's way, and they have bled and died for this country, for our community, for our values, and for everyone here, us included, and in many cases have literally bled and died saving their brother and sister soldiers, and airmen, and sailors. So I am very, very proud. People don't, just, if I could, just for a second, just the sheer numbers alone, it just caught me by surprise. I mean, just if you think that in World War II there were nearly 1 million soldiers awarded the Purple Heart, 350,000 in Vietnam, 118,000 in Korea, and that doesn't count. Obviously, doesn't count Desert Storm, doesn't count those that have been injured and killed in North Africa, and certainly it does not count the 58,000 people who have been wounded or killed since 9/11. It's just the numbers are staggering to me. So anything that we can do to make someone who has a Purple Heart feel more comfortable, for them to see a sign when they're entering the town and know that this place, this town, this community welcomes them, and that there are services available, whatever they need, that we can help them and find services that they've well earned and well deserved. We're going to make sure that that happens. And as our commander said, our goal is to have that corridor from Westerly all the way through East Greenwich and up into Warwick. As all Purple Heart towns, we're well on the way to having that done, and there would be nothing better than to see Route 1 and Route 4 as a Purple Heart highway. I know my wife and I see that when we travel in other states, Purple Heart highways, and it always takes our breath away a little bit to see that. So in recognition of that, and just to let you know that how much we think of the town of Narragansett and all of those that fully support us, we have a plaque here for the town, and presenting the town of Narragansett as an official Purple Heart town from VFW Post 916. So, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you all. Thank you all.
We're going to take a 5-minute break right here. Thank you. All right. right, if everyone can return to their seats, please. We do have an announcement. The council is going to be having an executive session on December 9th at 4:30 p.m. regarding collective bargaining. So I wanted to have that on the record for the clerk, and then for that, and the council has scheduled that. Again, that's December 9th, collective bargaining executive session at 4:30 p.m. Is that correct, Terry? Yes. All right, great. Next, we have our consent agenda. Is there any item that anyone would like removed from the consent agenda?
Yes, I'll take off number 2 right now.
All right, great. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of item number 2?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Item number 2 is a motion to approve a Class F1 alcoholic beverage license for the Busybodies Foundation for their fundraising event to be held on February 1st, 2020 at the Towers, subject to state and local regulations.
So the organizer is here
So
tonight.
moved. I need a
I'm sorry.
move, yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Go ahead, Jill.
The organizer is here tonight, and she did a lot of work with the VFW, so I thought we'd give her the opportunity to speak about the event.
Welcome. Name and address.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rachel Clow. I live at 278 Columbia Street in Peacedale. I still call it Peacedale, even though we lost our zip code. I am president and founder of Busybodies Foundation, and it is a local nonprofit that supports children to do whatever activity they want, and it's within Washington County. So any kids under the age of 18, whether it's athletics or music or whatever their interest, we help provide funding. And knowing I was coming here, I kind of looked back at all my notes, and in the past 5 years, we have been able to give out over $15,000 worth of scholarships. So we are a small foundation, but we're very active within our community and are proud of what we've been doing. So this event is our annual Roaring 20s, and this year it's actually going to be more exciting because it's 2020, so you can dress past or present. And it's going to be at the Narragansett Towers on February 1st from 7 to 11. So I have invitations for all of you, and I hope you can make it. And with the money we raise from this, we try to only do one big event a year because it's 100% volunteer board. So it's our sideline, all our free time, this is what we do.
Well, thank you so much. If you give the invitations to
I
the
will.
town clerk, that would be wonderful. And we look forward to that event on February 1st. Any comments from the council? Any other comments from the public?
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Item number 8 is a motion to read, pass, and adopt as a second reading a resolution amending the official list of parking restrictions and regulations in the town of Narragansett in accordance with the Narragansett Code of Ordinances to restrict parking on Anna Olivo Court.
So moved.
Second.
This is the second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Item 9 is a motion to award the bid for revaluation program from 12/31/2020 assessment date to the second lowest bidder, Northeast Revaluation Group, LLC, in the amount of $348,000, and to authorize the town manager to sign the contract after review by the town solicitor.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. So I'm going to turn it over to the town manager and to the tax assessor regarding this bid process and this 3-year evaluation reval process. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. President and members of the
Good evening.
Town Council. If you want me to give you a brief summary of reevaluations in general, or?
No, basically, just a couple things. The Northeast reval, we switched to from vision appraisal. That's part of the reason why, although they're not the lowest bidder, part of the reason we're choosing them is, though they're not the lowest bidder, the recommendation from you is for them because they're familiar with our system. We had some frustrations with vision appraisal in the past, and anything along those lines. I don't think we need to. Many people are familiar with the 3-year process, the reval process.
Yeah,
Remember,
that's
this
fine.
would start 12/31/2020, correct?
Well, it'd be as of 12/31/2020. It's going to start in December because it's going to be a measure and list. Every 9 years, we do a measure and list. Every other year, every other 3-year cycle, we just do a reevaluation. There's no measure and list, but the process is the same for either one. Hopefully you've read my summary on it. It kind of summarizes. I tried to be as brief as possible. I've been through many revals because I've been in this line of business for a while. I can say that I spent more time on these 3 proposals than I've spent on previous ones. I'm encouraged that there's 3 bidders for these. In the past, there's been generally 2 bidders. So that's good. I think it's good for the town. But ultimately, my responsibility is to get to what I call the finish line, and the finish line is accomplishing the things that I feel are important to the town of Narragansett. And that really, for me, it really comes down to value and equity. So I spent considerable amounts of time speaking with the 3 bidders. Asking them questions, finding out about staff, finding out about timelines. And my recommendation is to stay with a Northeast reevaluation. And the primary reason for that is software, as anyone knows that's getting a new software system, they're very complicated. With reevaluations, it's software and it's also personnel and the familiarity with the town. There's many issues. There are many issues that I've addressed in the last reval, which I came late to here in Narragansett, and the conversion. But there are many issues that I'm looking to address, and ultimately that's my goal. And while there were certainly other options in this case, I felt that with what we are dealing with software. That Northeast would ultimately be the best, would provide the best results, value, and equity for the town. That's pretty much.
Great.
If you have any questions, I'm happy to.
And the other bid, the low bid was Tyler, which was up approximately $20,000 less. Are there any questions or comments from the council?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. Yeah, I'm not a real big fan of Northeast reevaluation group. For instance, if you're buzzing around down there and you see a certain property and you go to print it, it doesn't print out the information that's showing on your screen on the computer. It pulls out certain information. So I got to a point where I just print the screen instead of going in the print mode and stuff. And,
Okay.
And it leaves out a lot of information that vision appraisals does cover, like previous owners and several other things. I'm not making a big deal. I'm just making a comment, I'm not going to, die in this hill, but I think pound for pound, I think vision appraisals is a better system. It's easier to understand. For people who have property, they can look it up. And you got 3 different choices when it comes to maps.
Yep.
The Northeast solution, there's a place to click on maps, but there's no map. So I think a lot of people don't realize that you can click on there and you'll get a map. You click on there, the map comes up, but it doesn't show a map. So it's kind of confusing because I use these systems all the time, and I just think you get more bang for your buck for vision appraisals. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, anyone from the public?
Oh, sorry, I have a couple questions. So I don't use the software that often. I don't really have a need to use it daily. I'm not a realtor. I know we used to use Vision. When did we switch over? Was that 3 years ago?
Yes.
And were you here? Sorry, I don't know the history. Were you?
Well, no, I arrived in December of 2017. They had already started the reevaluation. They were in it. They were just pretty much finishing it up. I started it was as of December that I arrived here. So they were finishing the reval as of that date, and they were also converting the software from Vision to Patriot that we're on now.
And what were the reasons that the staff gave, or at least your understanding, to switch from Vision to Northeast at that time?
Well, Vision wrote the town a letter saying that they would have to upgrade their system, and it was going to be $25,000.
Okay, so that's one reason. Do you know, was there an issue with the quality or the staff or anything like that?
No.
Or was it monetary?
No.
All right, so I have actually a question for Jill, if you don't mind. Since you're a realtor, do you have a preference between the two softwares?
They're pretty similar. I don't know that one is so superior than the other. I use them both. Patrick's right. One's a little bit easier to use, but if you're using them constantly, you know how to use them. Yeah.
Mm. All right. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, that's the website is one of the things we've put together a punch list as to issues to address. So we are going to address those.
Okay.
So thank you for your
Actually,
time.
I do have one more. Sorry, quick. I don't know if you have the answer to this. Is this the same Tyler Technologies that bid on this that we use for PACE, the PACE program?
I believe so. They're a big corporation, a very large corporation. They have
Okay.
a number of different types of software.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
So overall, Northeast, because of our familiarity and the continuity, that's your recommendation.
Yes.
Anything else, Jim? No. All right. Anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Item number,
Thank you.
thank you. Item 10 is a motion to approve the Town Hall Security Project with Land Telecommunications Incorporated in the amount of $25,464.33.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Are there any comments or questions from the council or from the public? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion approved 5-0. A motion to read, pass, and adopt as a second reading an ordinance and amendment of Chapter 731 of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Narragansett, Rhode Island, entitled Zoning, at Section 3.2 Official Zoning Map, to modify the limitation on uses for the property at 707 Point Judith Road, Plat Y4, Lot 4, Zone BB and R80.
So moved.
Second.
This is a second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion approved 5-0. Item 12 is a motion to adopt the proposed 2020 Narragansett beach fees.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. So we had a work session on the beach fees. There's a recommendation from our Parks and Recs Department for no changes. I am going to have him come up if there are any questions for him from the council, but I think we're pretty well versed in what we the last couple of years in making and strengthening our beach policies. All right. Are there any questions for Steve?
Good evening.
All right. Anything you want to say?
No, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity. As we said in the work session, I think we had a very successful season for 2019, and the department and the Rec Advisory Board are moving forward and asking to move forward for 2020 with no changes in our fees and our policies. The only thing that we did recommend, and I can put it on an agenda for December, is that we will make a recommendation to change our weekend and holiday hours to 7:30 to 6 o'clock with lifeguards on duty. That'll be for weekends and holidays. Fees and policies will stay the same, but we're just going to change our hours for weekends and holidays. Weekdays will be 8:30 to 6 o'clock.
All right, thank you. And just if you can stay nearby, unless you have any backup for number 13 as well, that'd be great. Any comment from the public? Stanley.
Certainly don't want to criticize the beach. There's a fantastic program out there. There's no doubt about it. But I did notice the payment in lieu of taxes. That's kind of a tax bill for the beach. They don't pay taxes, so they give the town some money instead of taxes, I think. And is it been constant over the years? I mean, since everybody else's taxes went up, I would assume that the beach taxes, payment in lieu of taxes, should also increase along with everyone else as time goes on, and therefore there should be a higher payment to the town from the beach fund. And of course, that means I think there should be an increase of fees. I mean, there's an increase in taxes, should be an increase of fees. Everybody's used to seeing at least cost of living increase in everything they buy, everywhere they go. Another thing I noticed here, seniors are free. You know, I mean, in Narragansett, I think the seniors are very rich. They don't need to go there for free. You know, I think they ought to pay their fair share like everyone else. You know, it's kind of a nice gesture, but it's, you know, you're trading off giving something for free, and then some family has to pay more in their taxes for their home. So I think we could have stood an increase in fees there. We could have had parking go up. You know, we're always, you know, I just think, I don't know exactly where, but I think the cabanas, they're $2,500. That's terribly cheap to have a cabana, you know, out there, a fancy thing out there for very rich people, I assume. I don't know, but $2,500 to have a place out there is pretty cheap to me. That probably should be about $4,000, you know. And again, you know, these fees go up, and we can increase the. Now we can have the expense part lower our taxes a little bit as we increase their fees. So I'm sorry I missed the workshop to bring this up. I just getting old, I guess. But I think in the future I would hope that you'd always continue to increase fees as you increase the taxes. If you stop increasing fees, okay, stop increasing our taxes. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
So,
thank you.
I'd just like to say one thing, Matt.
Yep.
So Stanley and others that at home or here that don't, the beach is an enterprise fund. So there are no tax dollars, Stanley. Nobody's taxes in the town go up or down because there's either not a great attendance of a season or there's a greater attendance. It's an enterprise fund. It runs itself. They've done a great job with it. They've actually have money in an emergency fund, which was never done before. So I think it's fantastic that staff, they all work as a team. The advisory board works with them, and they've done an unbelievable job. And they do have further projects that they will bring up, and that all comes out of that beach enterprise fund, not a dime of the taxpayer. So we should really be proud of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else?
Yeah, quick question. Steve, do you mind coming up? I just missed something real quickly there. Can you just repeat the change to the hours? Because I didn't catch that.
Yes, we gave some thought from the work session, and we're going to make a recommendation at the next in December meeting to change our hours on weekends and holidays and open an hour early and charge from 7:30 in the morning instead of 8:30, from 7:30 until 6 o'clock at night. So our hours will be lifeguards on duty from 7:30 till 6 instead of 8:30 to 6. So we'll be bringing that before the council in December.
All right, so that'll be a separate vote from this?
Yes, it will.
Okay, thank you.
Steve, 7:30, did it used to open at 8?
We open at 8:30.
8:30. So then you're going to keep it at 8, you're going to keep it at 8:30, you're going to go to 7:30? I missed
Weekends
that.
and holidays.
I heard 7:30, so.
Yeah, we're going to bring that before the council in December, but it was brought to our attention numerous times during our survey and at the work session to think about, particularly on weekends, is when we have a lot of folks that park on the seawall and half our beach is full before we even open up at 8:30. So we're going to try that. We talked about it It happened to be just right after the workshop. We had a rec advisory board. We talked about that at length, and we're going to bring that before you to discuss and possibly use it as a pilot program next year, 2020.
Thank you.
Right, but we're not voting on that tonight.
Exactly.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for bringing that back to the advisory. I know that's something that I've heard often from people this summer, saying that it's just jammed up about an hour before the beach opens, people wanting to get in for free and taking the parking places at the seawall away from the restaurants and the shops in town. So thank you for bringing that to the board.
If there's anyone else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion approved 5-0. Item 13 is a motion to award the request for proposals for landscape design services, Veterans Memorial Park to Landscape Elements LLC in the amount of $17,012.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. I'm going to bring Steve up. This is, we could call either Phase 1B or Phase 2A, right? So the first big thing that was done down at the park was that fourth plaque for the most recent ward.
Yes.
But now this is, if you could describe this next piece.
Yes,
of the
and this
puzzle.
has been, and thank you, this has been something we've been working on with Major Marikas for several years on this project. If you all know, Veterans Memorial Park, which is a small piece at Veterans Park, which is in, first of all, there's no ADA access. We want to take a look at this. We'd like to hire this company to do a master plan, landscaping plan, make it ADA accessible. Right now, there is no continuous access to the park, to the rest of the Veterans Park. There is no walkways to two of the monuments, and it really needs to be upgraded. So it's something that this is the first part of that, is to design this and then be able to have a budget to include in the park's CIP to move forward for the next year or two to be able to develop that. So this is a big portion of that, and we actually had this in our CIP that was approved last spring. So this money is used to develop that with our master plan.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments from the council? Any questions or comments from the public? Yes.
Could you ever check with maybe the University of Rhode Island Landscape Architecture program? The landscape architecture program maybe help out, like an internship
Yeah, we can check with them. Yes. Yep.
before
Thank you.
approval? Okay, thank you.
All right, anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Next is a motion to approve hiring one recreation program coordinator of the Parks and Recreation Department.
So moved.
Second?
This is due to a retirement. Any comments or questions from the council? Any comments or questions from the public? Yes, Stanley.
I want to commend the programs that have been done out there. I've seen Tom Tessitore out there. I've been out there during the events. And him and Steve have been out there following through. They've done a fantastic job of bringing some fantastic people out there, and I certainly enjoyed myself, and many people have enjoyed themselves. And it really is, I felt bad that Tom was thinking of retiring. I'd like to hold him over as long as we could, you know. But I do want to give him an attaboy. Yeah, they've done a good job. Thank you.
Thank you. We were sharing that as well, and Steve and I talked about that before the meeting. So we'll, yeah. So we want to thank him for his service. Yes.
Karen Chapshello at Swander Street. I think this is an opportunity with the hiring of a new person for the Parks and Recreation, that we include a job description that covers programming for seniors, because right now they just have Karen Flint doing most of the programming and all the work for the community center with very little help from one part-time custodian. And I think with the growing number of seniors, it would be an opportunity to assist in strengthening our senior programs. We could have someone that was qualified to program for seniors in that job description. Basically, I think Tom Tessitore does a lot of programming for children, but I don't think there's much involvement with the seniors. So I think this is an opportunity to improve the senior program.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Item 15 is a motion to award the bid for pump station wet well cleaning to the lowest bidder, Inland Waters Incorporated, in the amount of $30,635.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments from the council? Any comments from the public? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Item 16 is a motion to approve the purchase of winter road salt from Champion Salt LLC at $46.70 per ton delivered for the fiscal year 2019-20 winter season per the City of Providence's bid award.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Any comments from the council? All right, so this is for our salt for the roads during the winter season. Any comments? So it's very important. Anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Item 17 is a motion to award the bid for seasonal trash receptacle rubbish removal for the Public Works Department to the lowest bidder, Tidy Up Incorporated, at their quoted prices of $25,946.30 at a per barrel cost of $3.89 for year one, and $24,693.72 at a per barrel cost of $3.89 for year number two.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. These are regarding the trash receptacles that we have at different parts of the town, including the pier and Galilee. Any comments or questions from the council? Comments from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Item number 18 is a motion to approve the renewal of the alcohol beverage licenses for the license period of December 1st, 2019 to November 30th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so discussion. I'm actually going to be doing this as 5 separate motions. This will be a little tedious, so I hope everyone has the patience to bear with me on this, because we have different categories of, categories of licenses. So we had our public hearing on these at our last meeting. So the first is, I'm going to be looking for a motion to renew the following Class A alcohol beverage liquor licenses, subject to compliance with all state and local regulations. Bonnet Spirits Incorporated, doing business as Bonnet Liquors at 965 Boston Neck Road. O'Neill's Package Store Incorporated, doing business as O'Neill's Package Store, 366 South Pier Road. And Schwabe's Wine and Spirits, doing business as Schwabe's Wine and Spirits, 855 Point Judith Road.
So moved.
Second.
All right, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Next is a motion to renew the Class A alcoholic beverage license, subject to compliance with all state and local regulations for Pier Liquors Incorporated, doing business as Pier Liquors, 29 Pier Marketplace.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so on this one, I'm going to be seeking an amendment for the renewal of the license to replace the stipulation which was approved on July 17, 2006, that reads, the license shall not be transferable to either a different owner or a different location, with the following: the license shall not be transferable to a different location, but may be transferred to a different owner.
So moved.
Second.
All right, discussion. All right, that's an amendment to that. All in favor?
Aye.
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 No.
Aye.
All right, motion approved, 4-1. Next item, next group of licenses is a motion to renew the following Class B victualling limited alcohol beverage licenses, subject to compliance with all state and local regulations. Aunt Carrie's Incorporated, doing business as Aunt Carrie's, 1240 Ocean Road. Calaveras LLC, doing business as Calaveras, 83 Narragansett Avenue. JB Coffee Company LLC, doing business as Cool Beans Cafe, 18 Kingstown Road. Julio's LLC, doing business as Leo's Pizza, 909 Boston Neck Road. Casey Montanari, doing business as The Bike Shop Cafe, 148 Boone Street.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Terry, one thing is, if I want to make sure that the license the type of license that I'm getting correct, but I'm reading it straight from each of these. I know that we're kind of going down in the tiers, so feel free to interrupt me.
That's all
All
good
right,
so far.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Did you?
I said aye.
Okay, all right, sorry. Motion approved 5-0. The next item is motion to renew, looking for a motion to renew the following Class B tavern alcoholic beverage licenses, subject to compliance with all state and local regulations. Narragansett Recreation LLC, doing business as Aqua Blue Hotel, 1 Beach Street. INP Beverage Services LLC, doing business as Ocean Rose Inn and Turtle Soup, 113 Ocean Road. And The Break LLC, doing business as The Break Hotel and Chair 5, 1208 Ocean Road.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Next group is a motion to renew the following Class B victualling alcoholic beverage licenses, subject to compliance with all state and local regulations. Diamond Arturo Corporation, doing business as Arturo Joe's at 140 Point Judith Road. Hammerhead Grill Incorporated, doing business as Bondview Inn, 1230 Ocean Road. Bamkel Peg, 1112 LLC, doing business as Busta Crabs Burger Shack, 265 Great Island Road. Caterina's Italian Restaurant Incorporated, doing business as Caterina's Italian Village, 945 Boston Neck Road. Champlain Seafood Deck Incorporated, doing business as Champlain Seafood Deck, 256 Great Island Road. Southwinds Corporation, doing business as Coast Guard House, 40 Ocean Road. George's Galilee Restaurant Incorporated, doing business as George's of Galilee, 250 Sand Hill Cove Road. Mariner Grill Incorporated, doing business as Mariner Grill, 140 Point Judith Road. New Dragon Incorporated, doing business as New Dragon, 80 Point Judith Road. GFL Incorporated, doing business as Pancho O'Malley's, 140 Point Judith Road. Pelly's Properties LLC, doing business as Pelly's Place, 909 Boston Neck Road. Sags Enterprises LLC, doing business as PJ's Pub, 135 Boone Street. Portside Restaurant Incorporated, doing business as Portside Restaurant, 321 Great Island Road. Proof Properties LLC, doing business as Proof, 140 Point Judith Road. Spain of Narragansett Incorporated, doing business as Spain Restaurant, 1144 Ocean Road. Thai Best LLC, doing business as Thai Best, 21 Pier Marketplace. TRG2 Incorporated, DBA Teas, Narragansett, 91 Point Judith Road. Trio LLC, doing business as Trio, 15 Kingstown Road. Twin Willows LLC, doing business as Twin Willows, 865 Boston Neck Road. WT Galilee Corporation, doing business as Captain Foggy's Fish House, 290-294 Great Island Road.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion on those? I didn't realize some of those served alcohol. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. And then a motion to renew the following Class D club alcoholic beverage licenses, subject to compliance with all state and local regulations. Bonnet Shores Beach Club Association, doing business as Bonnet Shores Beach Club, 175 Bonnet Point Road. GBC Association, doing business as Galilee Beach Club, 220 Sand Hill Cove Road. Metatuxet Improvement Association, doing business as Metatuxet Yacht Club, 30 South River Drive. Petaquamsket Lake Shores Improvement Association, doing business as Petaquamsket Lake Shores Improvement Association. 50 Woods Road, Point Judith Country Club, doing business as Point Judith Country Club, 150 Windermere Road. And Dunes Corporation, doing business as the Dunes Club, 137 Boston Neck Road.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved 5-0. Thank you, everyone, for your patience on that. All right. Item 19, I'm going to have to, could you read me the motion? I know it's revised, Terry. I have the old, or if someone else has it.
The recommendation is that the town council president appoint one individual to the Historic District Commission.
All right, so it's an appointment by the president to one individual to the Historic District Commission. So the Historic District Commission has a unique feature in which the president of the council actually makes the appointment, not the council itself. So I'm going to be appointing Karen Cotugno to the Historic District Commission. Next item is item number 20, a motion to schedule the annual Town Council and School Committee work session on fiscal year 2021 school budget as required by RIGL General Laws 16-2-21.
So moved.
Second.
So there are 2 dates for that possibilities, so I don't know what people on the council, one option is December 16th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. That would be prior to a regular meeting, and then we have on December 9th at 5:30 p.m. So basically, I'm just going to ask the council members if they have a preference between the 2.
16th?
16th?
16.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so it's going to be a motion to, so we're going to be scheduling this for December 16th at 6:30 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved, 5-0. Item number 21 is a motion to appoint Public Works Deputy Director Stephen Daigneault as acting Public Works Director until further notice.
So moved.
Second?
Jim? So this will be, we'll have Steve Daigneault for the next couple months in that role. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved, 5-0. Item 22 is a motion to cancel the Town Council meeting scheduled for Monday, December 2nd, 2019.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. This item actually comes from me. We typically cancel our second meeting in December to give everyone a break over Christmas. But this year, our new town manager is not going to be here for the first meeting, so we spoke and think it's in the best interest to have him here at the meetings, at least in this early part of his tenure. And so we'll be canceling the first meeting in December, which will be December 2nd, if this passes, instead of the second one. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
No.
I don't see why not. We'll cancel it. Yes.
Motion approved, 4-1. All right, our next section of the meeting is our open forum public comment. People are come to the podium for matters that are of concern to the town. I ask that people go try to keep their comments to 3 minutes. Just name and address.
Thank you for
Yep.
letting me go first, Stanley. Rachel Clow, Peacetail. I wanted to thank you very much for announcing the Veterans Day breakfast at the last meeting. My friend Shelley Kolb and I organize the Veterans Day breakfast and a Memorial Day breakfast each year and have since 2013. So we certainly appreciate your support. I often see many of you at the breakfast, and thank you for that. This year we raised we raised $420 to give to our local VFW post with pledges to bring it to $500. I paused because what we raise is more the feeling in the community, which is why we do it. We were able to give 22 veterans a free breakfast, which is what it's all about, and get the community support. They're out there in the morning to see what it's all about. This year, we did donate to the VFW post, which we have done in the past. We also sometimes will give to another military charity, but it's always a great day and well received. So thank you for supporting it and for being a part of it, and hope to see you at Memorial Day breakfast.
Well, thank you for all the work that you do on the veterans, and just know you're in our next door town, but you've done so much as somebody in the community, and I want to just make sure that people understand your volunteer efforts, and there's people like you who keep things going and make things nice for all of us, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, is there anyone else? Stanley.
I think I mentioned this before, but I think we need to think more about it as time goes on. The Rhode Island General Treasurer, Seth Magazine, released this year's Debt Affordability Study, providing comprehensive information on debt. And it said, in Narragansett, the town comes dangerously close to meeting the recommended limits for governmental debt services, according to this Public Finance Management Board. And that board is there to provide a useful guide that policymakers in Rhode Island can refer to when making decisions. So that's like, I guess, like going to the bank, you know, got to get approved for debt. I guess there's no approval rating for debt in public in a tax situation, but it seems like at least we have a recommendation that we're in probably close to a maximum allowable debt. Therefore, I wanted you to stay fast in not taking on more debt. And of course, that goes on to the library debt. I was hoping that once the library debt situation, they understand that you don't have the money technically, you don't have the ability, or let's say fiscal responsibility says that you don't go out there and take on any more debt. So now the library, I was hoping, would look for alternative financial ways of getting the money to carry on their project. And I was so happy to see Terrence Murray come up with an idea on getting volunteer money. You know, I was hoping that after he did it, maybe 5 or 10 others would do it, and understanding that the government can't do it. You can't go after somebody that doesn't have the money. So you find somebody who does have the money to step forward and donate. Now, when you find out that if you find out that you've got $10 million, now you can go find out what kind of building you want. But if you only got $5 million, you know, how long do you want to go out there and find the money? But it's obvious that the government here, according to professional people, should not be taking on debt. So I want you to steadfast in that decision to minimize the debt issue and maximize the idea of looking for volunteer money out there in this town. I'm sure there's many more like Terrence that would come forward even before final design. The final design comes after we know how much money we got. We can't have a final design if we don't know how much money we got.
Thank you, Stan.
Oh, geez. I'm sorry about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Dave Avedizian, Woodward Road. I was going to speak earlier during the parking comment, but I figured I'd speak now. I just want to let you know there's a couple issues that are going on down at Point Judith that were not addressed earlier. One of the things, many of you know that I own a landscaping business, and I do a lot of business down in that area. Some of the issues stem from people placing structures close to the road, whether it be fencing, walls, trees, plants. So when you go to park along the road, especially me with my landscape truck and trailer, I can't park all the way over to the side of the road because you can't get out of the truck because you can't open the door because it runs into a fence, runs into a wall, runs into some trees or bushes. There's actually a road that runs between, I believe, Ocean Road and Califf, where one of my customers built himself he no longer lives there, he sold the house. He put a railroad tie wall blocking that road that runs parallel in between those two roads so you can't drive through. So I think the town really needs to look at not only the parking issue down there, but some of the structures that have been placed on those roads that make it very difficult to park anywhere along there. Second of all, many of you know that I feel as a resident, any resident town should be able to park on any residential street in this town if your car is registered in Narragansett. And I have a teenage son and his friends who I take surfing down in that area. If you're going to create spots down in that area, I believe that they should be for the residents of this town, and they should get first dibs on those spots. And I do have friends that live in SK and East Greenwich that surf. I could easily pick them up at the Bonneview and drive in my truck or car down to that resident-only parking on some of those side streets over there and allow me to park closer to those public access points. I personally don't surf, but my son does and his friends, and I like to be close by when they're surfing the big surf because just in case something happens, I need to be able to pull him out of the water and get him out of there. So dropping him off at one of those points and then going back and parking at the Bonneview and then walking back over there is not really a viable option to me. I feel it would be better for many parents in this community, and it would be a safety issue for the parents of this town if they could park closer to the areas where the kids surf. And I think that would be a kind of an easy compromise and alleviate some of the pressure on the small number of spots you may be able to create in that area. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Yes, Mr. Smith.
David Smith, 24 Castle Road, Narragansett. The Narragansett Town Council on November 6th held a second of 2 workshops on the alternate route proposed by Rhode Island Department of Transportation in its readiness review of Phase 4B of the South County Bike Path. During that session, the council members considered rejecting the plan and ending the South County Bike Path at the Narragansett Community Center. This decision would result in the loss of $3 million in reimbursement for design and construction of the final 3/4-mile segment of the bike path, Phase 4B, to the beach. Now, there was some discussion that the $3 million could be used for design and permitting of the path through Canachet Farm if funds from other sources could be used to cover construction. I believe that the Department of Transportation will not reimburse the town for design and permitting of the path through Canachet Farm, as RIDOT has already determined that such a path cannot be permitted because of species of concern, wetlands, and sea level rise. I wish it were not so. This decision to not complete the bike path between the community center and the beach leaves in place serious problems for pedestrians, bicyclists, and motorists. The town council should inform RIDOT that it will accept $3 million, but with the first expenditure being hiring a traffic engineer to do a comprehensive traffic safety plan for central Narragansett, a plan that takes into account the concerns of the residents of Narragansett Avenue, Wanda Street, Othmar Street, and Strathmore, and other stakeholders. A plan that takes into account the current marked bike route on Mumford Road, Kingstown Road, and Narragansett Avenue. A plan that takes into account multiple destinations for bicyclists and pedestrians, not just Narragansett Beach, but the Pier Marketplace, Boone Street, parks. And finally, a plan that takes into account connections with the South County Bike Path Phase 4A at the Community Center, the bike route on Boston Neck Road, and the Safe Routes to School multi-use path by the Pier Middle School and Narragansett High School. Such a roadway safety assessment would certainly lead to a better design than the alternative presented by RIDOT. Or it may show that the path through Canachet Farm is the only safe route and therefore able to pass those permitting hurdles. So I urge you to engage with the Department of Transportation and not to say no to the $3 million and to seek reimbursement for a traffic safety plan. And let's not let serious safety problems fester. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Mrs. Smith.
Good evening, everyone. Rosemary Smith, 24 Castle Road, Narragansett. Today, David, the previous speaker, and I attended the ribbon cutting for the URI Bike Path connector to the South County Bike Path. It was really a festive event. The 4 main speakers, URI President Dr. Dooley, Director of Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management Janet Coit, a URI faculty representative, and a vivacious president of the Student Senate, spoke of the beauty of the bike path through the campus to the side of Peckham Farm and to the South County Bike Path that they felt terminated at the Narragansett Town Beach. They said it all 4 times, each speaker. So I just say that the people will be coming to use our bike path very soon, as this is now opening, and the town 4A path will be opening soon too. In addition to the estimated 30,000 bicycle trips a year at Mumford Road, which was determined by the Rhode Island Department of Planning in 2017, there will be additional bicyclists and pedestrians. Director Coit asked to speak to Dave and I about Phase 4A, the bike path around the elementary school, which is funded by the DEM's Green Economy Bond and is almost completed. She is looking forward to the ribbon-cutting ceremony for Phase 4A in Narragansett. Secondly, Director Coit said that Narragansett should keep its options open and not reject the $3 million DOT reimbursement. She concurred with us that hiring a traffic engineer to develop a road safety assessment for the center of Narragansett makes sense, as it is the intersection of the South County Bike Path, the Safe Routes to School, and the Boston Neck Road bike route. From our perspective, the Town Council's decision not to accept a $3 million reimbursement is not going to stop the influx of bicyclists and pedestrians. The reimbursement can be used to provide safe pathways to Narragansett Beach and other destinations. It is a $3 million reimbursement that the town cannot afford to refuse, and we need to make the big step forward. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Karen?
Karen Chebshelowitz, Wanda Street. I missed I had a conflict, so I couldn't come to the last discussion. We've had many, many, many discussions about the use of the bike path coming through Canachet Farms. And in the report, it was stated that Narragansett wasn't ready to accept the money, and that's why they cut the money. And I can't understand why we had spent so much time trying to bring the bike path through a safe, rustic, pretty area, which is the area behind Canachet Farms housing development. And that would make it a very enjoyable place to play and to walk and to bike ride. And I can't for the life of me figure out why this has been stalled and the can has been kicked down the road. And then they come up with this preposterous plan to bring it down Wanda Street. I mean, there have been bike accidents right at the corner of Strathmore and Kingstown. A friend of my son's was hit by a car coming home from school when he was in elementary school. And now with the increased traffic from Canachet Farms development using Wanda and Othmar as a shortcut to the beach, I think they're really missing the point of just bringing the bike path to the beach by any way, shape, or form. I was on a bike pedestrian committee, and the main reason I joined that committee was for the safety of pedestrians and bikers in the town, because we certainly have an increased number of bikers. But I don't understand why they're not bringing it through Canachet Farms, which would be much more pretty and rustic tour and journey, rather than, I think all the neighbors are very upset that you're even considering bringing it down Wanda Street, because we realize how dangerous that can be. And it really is dangerous with all the driveways coming out on Wanda Street and cars buzzing up and down, and you can't always see it because it's erratic, you know, when there's holidays or summer traffic. Plus, when the bike traffic empties out onto the lower part of Narragansett Avenue, which is right by Lake Canachet, down at the bottom of the street. There's no place for the bikes to go. They've made no effort to absolutely put a wooden path down to prohibit parking along those streets. And I can't understand it, why they at least won't say you can't park there, because there's parking on both sides, and rescue vehicles can't even get through that street when there's traffic coming on both sides and there's cars parked on each side. And where are the bikers supposed to go in that situation? It's very dangerous. And I would hope, rather than dangling, oh, we're going to miss the $3 million, well, think of something we can do constructively with the $3 million down by Canarchet Farms and use it constructively
Thank you,
towards
Karen.
that.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. A motion to retire to executive session of the Town Council in accordance with Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-4 and 42-46-5, subsection A, personnel, discussion of compensation for full-time municipal employees not covered by a collective bargaining agreement in accordance with Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5, subsection A1. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second,
All right, roll call.
Richard Lima, aye.
Jill Lawler, aye.
Matt Mannix, aye.
Patrick Murray, aye.
Jesse Pugh, aye.
All right, motion approved 5-0. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a nice break.
I'm going to adjourn the meeting.